Hey guys, it's Kathy from Cameo Craft Class, and today I want to talk to you about how to glitter Christmas ornaments. So this is something that I get asked all the time, and it's super easy. Anybody can do this, and it just is a fun thing to do. So let's get going. Let's talk about the supplies you need. So there's like 6 or maybe 7 things that you need to make these glitter ornaments like this. So the first thing that you need is polycrylic. I like to use the clear matte, and this is water-based, which is really, really nice and important because you can clean it up easily. So polycrylic, and that basically goes inside the ornament to coat it. You need an ornament, and there's all different shapes and sizes of these guys. You can get the M&M or the flat style, which this is like a 3-inch, this is a 4-inch size, and these are glass, you can hear. They also come in plastic. This one's glass too. Plastic. Here's a plastic one. And the plastic ones feel lighter, and they're obviously easier to not break, but they are a little more expensive. So just keep that in mind depending on what you're doing. You may need the plastic ones, but if you want a more premium feel, the glass ones do feel a little bit nicer when you're holding it in your hand. And when you go to the craft store, you'll find these in boxes. Usually they come in sets of 3 or 4 depending on the size and the shape that you're looking for. And you can also find like these big giant containers that have an assortment of different shapes and sizes in there. So just look and see, depending on the design that you want to put on it. So the next thing you need after you've got your polycrylic and your ornament is your glitter. And I like to use extra fine glitter. You can use different sizes of glitter, but I feel like the extra fine glitter gives a nice, smooth, even coat all the way around. So that's what I recommend. And then you need a funnel to get the glitter from here inside the ornament with the smallest mess possible. So I definitely recommend getting a little ornament that fits inside. This is actually called an ornament funnel. So it's made for fitting inside those ornaments. And then a couple things that make it easier to create these ornaments. This is a medicine dropper or a medicine syringe, and this is 10 milliliters. And basically I use this to suction the polycrylic inside to put it inside the ornament. I have glitter on my forehead. That's awesome. Sorry. And then the last thing is E6000. So I like to use this to close my ornament up when I'm done glittering it, and basically that prevents the top from popping off, especially on these glass ornaments. If somebody's holding it or a kid's swinging it around, these tops tend to pop off, and then the ornament can crash and break. Or if a pet is playing with it, and things happen. So glue the top on. It takes 2 or 3 seconds, and once it's dry, it's going to be secure while it's hanging on the tree or while somebody's holding it, because people tend to hold them like this, or they'll hold it by the string, and that just puts a little bit of pressure on this and they can pop off easy. So put a little bit of glue on there. E6000 works great. It dries overnight, and it'll prevent accidents. So let me switch the camera over and I'll actually show you how to do this glittering process. So let me clear some space here. And here we are. So I'm going to open my polycrylic. Put this here. And usually I just use a screwdriver. It pops right open. It's super easy. And it doesn't have a horrible odor. So if you're sensitive to fumes and things like that, I'm usually fine in my office. But you can take this outside. It probably recommends doing this outside if you read it. But I've never had any problems sitting in my office glittering these. So the next thing you want to do is take the top off your ornament. And I'm going to set that there. And I'm going to stick my ornament inside. This is just a plastic cup left over from my son's birthday party. He had a pirate themed party. So these are just left over from that. When you take the top off, another thing I want to mention, just from my own experience, is sometimes there's little shards of glass that are here from when the manufacturer created it, and if you touch that, sometimes they can cut you or poke you and make you bleed. So just be careful of that. You'll see it if it's sticking out. I don't have any here right now, but probably 1 in every 20 has that, and you just have to be a little bit careful when you're working with it. So what we're going to do now is take the syringe and stick it inside this polycrylic container. And I'm going to pull it all the way up to the 10 milliliter mark. And then tap it off so it doesn't drip. And then I'm going to grab my ornament here and stick this syringe part inside the ornament and slowly start pushing this in. You don't want to do this super fast because it can create bubbles inside the ornament. So slow and steady wins the race, as they say. And when I get to about the 0.5 milliliter mark, I'm going to stop. And then I'm going to suction a little bit more into the dropper. Probably about 6 milliliters. And then just put a little bit more in here. Again, I'm not going to push it all the way to the end. If you push it all the way to the end, it can basically push bubbles into the ornament. And we don't want bubbles in the ornament because that can create problems. It can create like a little spot on the ornament on the inside where the glitter doesn't cover as evenly as the other spots, and we don't want that. So no bubbles if you do it this way. And then you'll see here all I'm doing is turning the ornament and making sure that I'm coating all the parts inside. And as you turn it, you slightly start to tilt it. And then I just start to drip the excess back. Sorry, my hand is totally in the way there. So all I did was rotate this like this over and over until the whole inside was coated. And then when we got to the end, I'm just slowly starting to pour the excess back. And I'm going to let this hang out here for just maybe 20 seconds to let that drip before I transfer it over to the cup. And let's see. So while this is doing this, we can talk a little bit about different ways to decorate these. So when I decorate these, I like to use Oracle 651 or 631 vinyl, just depending on what I'm making. And I use my Silhouette Cameo machine to create and cut those designs out. And if that's something that you're interested in, you're not quite sure how to do that, I'm going to be starting a class, and you're welcome to join us. We have some fun members in there, and everybody's super helpful. We've all come from different backgrounds, and we just love to craft. So if you're needing some help on how to get started, I'm definitely loving helping these guys get more comfortable using the software. So this is looking pretty good. Basically what I'm going to do is blot it with this paper towel, and I'm going to stick it inside that cup. I'm going to put the lid back on this, and we'll pull this forward, and I've got my little funnel here that we're going to put just right inside there. It just sits right in there. And I'm going to make a red ornament this time. I haven't made any red ones in a while, so red, and all you're going to do is just, let me move this over this way. You just pour a bunch in there. And then I give my funnel a little shake before I pull it out to help prevent too much glitter from getting all over the place. And then you can see it's in there. I'm going to put a paper towel over the top of the ornament and just give it a little shake. And then once you're done, hold the ornament up and down. Grab your container and pour the excess as much as you can back in the container. And I like to, when you're shopping for your glitter, I like to use the containers that have this nice round opening. You'll see some of the rectangular containers, they're a little bit harder to get the glitter back in because of how they're shaped. So I like to use the ones that have the circular opening. The ones that are they're squares or rectangles, they have the corner opening. It's kind of like a spice container. I'm trying to describe it. So it's like a spice container, but like it's really hard to pour the glitter back in without just making a mess. So look for the circular containers, or transfer your rectangular into circular. It'll be easier for you in the long run. So I usually let these dry upside down overnight. If I'm in a hurry, I'll just wait a few hours and then I'll glue the top on. And to do that, all you're going to do is take the E6000, go around the rim, just right around the edge, just a little bit. And then you will take your topper, and before I put it back on, I like to kind of bend these little prongs out a little bit that go around it. That way it's easier on me when I'm getting it in. And you just simply squeeze these things back in, and you'll stick it in the hole just like that, and then release, and it'll push right back in. One thing to know when you're doing this is it can scratch the edge of this, so that's another reason to glue the top on. If you do scratch a little bit of the glitter off, when you glue this on, it kind of covers anything that may have scratched off. So one other just little tip there, if you liked this tutorial and you want to see more of how Kathy crafts, then please join us at cameocraftclass.com. We'd love to have you. And if you have questions, please comment below. Find us on Facebook, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.